My fellow men, the real threat has never been the woman. It's the distraction that we build our identity around, When people warn about distractions in life, we often think of loud, obvious things, like addictions, drama, laziness, or even toxic people. But the most dangerous distractions are not the ones that you notice. They are the ones that you normalize, especially the kind that feel like love, look like purpose, or even sound like connection, but are actually emotional attachments pulling you off your path. You have to remember the distractions that you bond with will automatically become an identity. There is a unique kind of distraction that doesn't feel like interference. It feels like intimacy, like meaning, like destiny. But underneath it, it's a trauma bond disguised as passion. A fantasy dressed up as chemistry. A codependent loop mistaken for divine timing. You stop working on your purpose. You compromise your values. You reshape your time, your habits, even your goals, all to preserve a connection that isn't even nourishing your evolution. Not because she's a bad person, but because the connection became bigger than your identity. It's not the woman. It's what you're willing to abandon for her. There is a big difference between a partner who aligns with your mission versus a person who becomes your mission. When a man has not anchored himself in purpose, he becomes vulnerable to making a woman or even the connection with her his emotional compass. He trades his discipline for dopamine, his vision for validation, and his self-leadership for her emotional availability. And slowly, before he knows it, he doesn't know who he is without her attention. And what makes this very dangerous? One, it feels very righteous. You convince yourself it's love, it's loyalty, or even divine connection. Number two, it's hard to detect because the distraction is tied to your emotional needs. Like, for example, your safety, your intimacy, or even your worth. Number three, it becomes your compass. You shape your decisions around her mood, your energy around her approval, your future around her presence. Number four, you start building a personality, not based on purpose or even truth, but on keeping the connection alive. You don't lose yourself all at once. You drip away one sacrifice, one compromise, one apology for your authenticity at a time. What you should really fear is not the woman, it's not love, but the loss of your center, the silence of your calling, the abandonment of your discipline, the erosion of your self-trust as you begin to orbit her needs, her moods and expectations more than your own destiny. The real danger is not falling for a woman. It's falling for a distraction disguised as destiny. And letting your soul starve while your emotions stay fed. Not all love is alignment, and not all chemistry is calling. So ask yourself, do I love her? Or do I love what she distracts me from? If the connection costs you your core, then it's not a partnership. It's a possession. My people, heal. Heal.